Hey everybody, this is Jackie Boland from ESLspeaking.org. So today I'm going to talk about my top 5 ESL past tense games and activities. So my first one is telling a story. So in most ESL textbooks, on the unit in the past tense, students will have to tell a story of some kind. For example, my most embarrassing moment, favorite vacation, something like that. Usually it's just kind of a throwaway activity, but it doesn't have to be. I try to turn it into something a whole lot better. So to start off with, I give students a minute or two just to write down a few notes, jot down a few words that they want to use in their story. I find that giving some preparation time, especially to beginners, can just result in way more interesting stories. And then students tell their story, but instead of just saying it to a partner and then being done with it, I put students into small groups, so groups of 3 or 4. They have to tell their story, and then the other students in the group each have to ask a follow-up question using the past tense. So for example, there's someone's favorite vacation, a follow-up question could be, why did you choose to go there? Or who did you go with if it wasn't mentioned in the story, whatever the case might be. Alright, the next one is dialogue substitution. So a common way that grammatical concepts are introduced in ESL textbooks is through a dialogue. However, if you ask students to read it, I find that they often just blow through it without really paying attention to what they're reading. Of course, it's not their fault, it's my fault, because I haven't really given them a reason to read or pay attention. To combat this, I'll often remove some of the key words, and then students have to put them in. I'll have a little word bank or whatever. A nice thing to do for the past tense is to give the word bank with verbs in the present tense, and then students have to conjugate them into the past tense. So whatever the case might be, depending on the level of students, so you can adapt it as necessary. Next one, conversation starter. So if you tell your students to talk about something from the past with their partner for 3 minutes, you might be met with silence. There just isn't enough information or instructions for students to get going with that. Instead, I like to give them some conversation starters, just to help them speak in the past tense to each other, and keep the conversation going in case they get stuck. Alright, the next one is the story timeline. So stories are told in the past tense. An interesting one is to have students read a simple story, and then you can cut out various strips of paper and then ask them to close the story and then put the strips of paper in the correct order. Another way to do this is just to skip over the reading the story in the first place and then have students look at the strips of paper and put them into the correct order to make a story. You could take that and go from there into focusing on the past tense, the grammar of the past tense, with the examples that they see from the story. Alright, the next one, a past tense board game. So I love to make board games for my students. They're super easy to do. If you click the link below, you can find out all the details about how I make board games and how I use them in my class. But it's really easy to fill up a board with questions, from the past tense. What did you do last night? Who did you talk to yesterday? What did you eat for breakfast? Etc., etc. So check it out. Alright, if you like this video on the past tense ESL activities, please hit like, subscribe, leave a comment below, say hello, and give it a share. Alright, until next time everyone, thank you.